Ladies and gentlemen, we live in what I call a microwave world, a microwave mentality, a microwave generation. Everything that we need to do, we expect to be able to do in 2 minutes, and we expect to be able to do it perfectly the first time. And if there's any resistance, if there's any pushback, if there's anything that does not work exactly the way that is expected to work, or exactly the way we think it's going to work, we want to blow the whole thing up and start over again. I want to talk about the understanding and the realization and the value of resilience, ladies and gentlemen, in a microwave world. The value of resilience in a microwave world. Anything good takes work. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. Dave Mack, Jessica Barks Kemp, nice to see you. Looks like you're new because you say you are. And I appreciate you coming and stopping by, and so very glad to see you. And what I'm talking about is this is a biblical thing. You know, I spent 20 years as a Pentecostal minister, so I do still have a lot of that in me. But I find the New Testament to be a great place for those of us that are seeking spiritual development to find inspiration and to find things that in this case even call perspiration, cause perspiration. And I'm looking at this out of the book of James today, which was, by the way, the first book of the New Testament. I know that's going to warp some people's minds, but chronologically speaking, it was the first book written in the New Testament. And James, who was the de facto leader of the Jesus movement, if you will, the Yeshua movement, the Messianic movement, however you want to term it, after the Christ departed, he says this, he says, listen, guys, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. And what does that mean? Let's go to the Greek, which the New Testament was originally written in. And it might have been written in Hebrew and then into Greek, but we're not going to get into that. That's another podcast. So let's look at this and let's see exactly what he's talking about, because I think it's important. He says, brothers, count it all joy, esteem it, when you fall into various types of trials. What is a trial, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, it means to have a trial, a testing, a temptation, a calamity, an affliction. So understand here that James is saying to Christian people, if that's the word you want to use, they weren't really called Christians, but he says to people of faith, if I can get back to the right place, he says to people of faith, count it all joy when you fall into different trials. And I think the biggest thing that I want you to see is just because you're falling into trials doesn't mean that things are bad, broken, rotten, and need to be blown up. James is showing us that the people that follow the ways of the Christ, the Master, the Lord, Jesus, Yeshua, whatever you call him, we will fall into different trials. Mark it down, write it down, count on it, because it will happen. You will fall into trials. You will fall into difficulties. You will fall into temptations. You will fall into things that, and my door is broken, I just noticed, but you will fall into things that aren't perfect. It's not always going to be perfect. And if you think it's going to be perfect, you're missing the boat, because it can't be perfect if you want to grow. You can't grow in a place of perfection. You have to have some testing. I've done a little bit of rock climbing, don't have the body for it, don't want to do it anymore, but you can't climb a smooth rock. You got to have a crack. You got to have a crevice. You got to have a fissure. You've got to have something jutting out if you want to be able to climb. So if you're trying to follow the Christ, you will have some trials, and they will be of various types and natures. That's just the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. And this microwave world wants us to believe that if everything's not perfect, blow it up, get rid of it, go do something else. If I don't like my job this week, let me find another job. If I don't like my spouse this week, let me find another spouse. If I don't like my career this week, let me find another career. We don't have any resiliency. We want to blow everything up, and we want to start over and do over. I mean, how many majors do these people have in college? We need to learn some resiliency, ladies and gentlemen. We need to learn some resiliency. And James goes on to tell us that, listen, it's the testing of your faith that produces endurance. And what is endurance? This is what we all want, ladies and gentlemen. We all want to be steadfast. We all want to be patient. We all want to be properly remaining. We all want to have endurance and steadfastness. We want it to be able to remain and endure. We want to have perseverance and steadfastness. But the only way that we get perseverance and steadfastness is through what? Through testing. And what is a testing? A test, a trial to prove what is genuine. I don't care if it's a job. I don't care if it's a hobby. I don't care if it's a relationship. If there's no testing, you don't know if it's genuine. If there's no trials, you don't know if it's genuine. And I don't know, but I think it's possible that we can draw the analogy, we can draw the inference that sometimes the greatest jobs, the greatest careers, the greatest, most important relationships may have commensurate tests, may have commensurate trials that accompany them. So just because you're running into some testing, just because you're running into some trials doesn't mean it's time to blow things up and do something else, find somebody else. Some of you people have these apps on your phone. You're dating 6 people at a time. If one of them doesn't work out, you throw them away like yesterday's newspaper and go on to the next one. And then you wonder why you can't find true love. Anyway, it's the testing that gives us and promotes endurance. The only way you ever find any endurance is through testing. You know, I'm a weightlifter and I'm into physical fitness. I can't grow my muscles and my physical optimization without going through trials and tests of you can't grow your muscles until you get under the bar, ladies and gentlemen. And as we look on, we see it's this endurance that will have its perfect, and I think that's complete, that will have its complete work. It's only through endurance, ladies and gentlemen, that you become complete so that you may be complete. See, it's the same word. It's only through this endurance, this patience, this testing, this trial. And if you want to be lacking nothing, what's the word lacking mean? Not wanting, not left behind, nothing abandoned, nothing behind in. Because remember, this is the word. And then it's about not wanting. So if you don't want to lack anything, if you want a job that doesn't lack anything, if you want a career that doesn't lack anything, if you want a relationship that doesn't lack anything, if you want a relationship that is complete in every part, completely sound, completely perfect, entirely complete and perfect, if that's what you want, then why the hell are you looking to avoid the endurance and the trial and the testing that makes you, your relationship, your job perfect? We've become this microwave generation where we expect everything to be perfect and everything to happen in less than 2 minutes. That's not what the master taught. And watch this right here. Let me help you a little bit more. The wisdom of this world is foolishness to the master. And the wisdom of this world says, if it doesn't work right away, then you got to dump it and do something different, dude. That's the wisdom of the world. And if any of us lack true wisdom, which again is what? Sophias, feminine wisdom, skill, insight, intelligence. If you lack divine insight, and if you don't understand the necessity of trial and tribulation and testing to get something good and complete and perfect, then you need some of this. Ask the one, ask the gods, ask the Father, ask the Mother, and they generously give, and they don't find fault, but they give to every person that asks them. And watch this. Ask believing you're going to get it. Ask believing that you're going to do what you're going to do with it. Don't ask them because you hope it's going to work out. Don't ask them because you think it's going to work out. Don't ask them because today you think you want to do it. But ask them when you know what you want to do, when you know who you want to be, when you know who you want to be with, then ask for faith. Then ask for wisdom. But when I was preaching, I used to say, don't ever pray for faith or patience. And it was kind of a joke, but if you pray for faith and if you pray for patience, what is it that proves your faith? Trials, testing. What is it that proves your patience? Trials, testing. So are you man enough? Are you woman enough to decide what you want to do, who you want to be, and who you want to be with, and then to ask the father and mother to give you the patience and the faith, knowing that you're calling down work, testing, and trials upon your career, upon your person, upon your relationship, willingly embracing it, stepping outside the microwave mentality and saying, I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and go to work because I want something that's real and complete and lasting. And that can't happen unless I have testing and trials and I learn how to persevere through the same. Because the only thing that lasts is a thing where two people or one person, if we're talking about career, get themselves perfectly cleaned out. If you don't do it, you're going to be like a wave of the sea being blown about and tossed by the wind. And listen to this. Don't let that person that doesn't set their mind, don't let them suppose that they will ever receive anything from the divine. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot get the blessing of the divine with a microwave mentality. A true blessed career, a true blessed relationship, a true blessed assurance of what your great basic purpose is does not happen in 3 minutes or less. It just doesn't happen. Add resiliency. Anything good takes work. Step outside of the microwave mentality, my friends and my neighbors. Jessica, Barks Kemp, Dave Mack, Cosman B. By faith and hope, we get through the trials and the tribulations. And the trials and the tribulations bring us to completeness. Lori, Cosmon B. again, Jessica Kemp, Charlene Rue. Are trials the studying? Maybe they can be. Weird. I've heard 3 different people say that same thing today. That's called synchronicity. Michelle DeHaven, KT, Dave Mack, dude, day 9, no beer. Ha ha. Congratulations to you. That's a great accomplishment. 9 days is a long way. True, Jeff. The 30 seconds or less immediate gratification mentality, says Lori Lolo's Flix Chavez. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I just cringe when I think of the people that don't know anything other than this microwave mentality. I just think of the relationships that crash and burn and the people who never find their great basic purpose and they bounce from career to career. Pardon me. And relationship to relationship, tossed about, double-minded, unstable. Ladies and gentlemen, add some resiliency. Thank you, Deborah DeBusk. First time in the chat room. I really appreciate that. Triona Ryan, hello. It's been a minute. No microwave mentality around here, not for Triona Ryan. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. Thank you for trying to at least hear what I have to say. I think after 37 years of spiritual work, I do have some things worth considering. Lori says 32 years of marriage and she doesn't use microwaves. Neither do I. And I've got a show all loaded. About microwaves. Thank you so much, Barry, for thanking me for the tattoo show. It was an interesting one nonetheless. The divinity in me recognizes the divinity in you. I salute you for being here seeking after truth. I encourage you to keep asking questions and keep questioning the answers that you're given, even here on this channel. The only way you unindoctrinate yourself, the only way you create yourself and build the life you love is not taking anybody's word for anything and making sure that you have a personal revelation within your own heart, within your own mind, within your own spirit, because only then is it real to you. If you do it because I say to do it, or Derek says to do it, or Rex says to do it, or Sandra says to do it, or Heidi says to do it, that's the wrong reason to do it. Decide to decide, and then decide to invite the divine in, and then decide to buckle down, do the studying, do the work. It's just like they say in the gym, Joshua Durham, no pain, no gain, no trials, no testing, no completion, no perfection. There's no shortcut to real, true spirituality and real, true completeness in spirit, in vocation, or in relationship. KT. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This is New Cosmic Knowledge. It's so important that we get this stuff right because, ladies and gentlemen, we are the last generation of real humans. I hope tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. you'll be with Wayne and I for the Not Your Normal Sunday show. Derek DeBusk has been locked into this channel for 3 months, learning a lot from Jeff, Rex, and Derek B. Yes, absolutely. There's a lot to be learned. Thank you so much for your attendance. Everyone here honors me greatly. We've blown past 21,000, well on our way to 22,000. I can't say thank you enough. And I do want to say thank you. I got a nice card from my youngest subscriber. It says, Brava Cado. You totally guacked it. And yeah, it's from Sophia and Sandra. So proud of you. We love. Congratulations. And Sophia draws a picture of me and her. So thank you very much. We are guacking it. And bravocado is definitely appropriate. Thank you so much. And we'll see you all again real soon.